But something does come along. Something comes along to pull us out of being a pre-contemplative into contemplation. For one person, something so inspirational comes around, that person feels infected. They just can't get that out of their head. They feel excited, they feel highly motivated, and is really captivated. For another person, they might move into stage 2 because there's been a major lifestyle change. Perhaps they now have more time or energy to do something that they didn't have a chance to before. Maybe they retired, or maybe they're working part-time, or maybe they finished up something and they're moving into a new stage of life. Sometimes the world just brings us a project. If we could peer inside the head of someone who's contemplating about their creative life, we're going to see all manner of things. Sometimes we get clarity. We can focus in on practical ideas, or ideas that would probably be the most productive for us, and we can remember what tools we have, what training we have, what contacts we have, and it starts to come together, starts to coalesce. And we must contemplate. We've been taught that we need to think things through before acting, think things through reasonably carefully before taking any risk or before we really rock our daily lives. However, there is some complications in contemplation. Shortly after we start, we're going to be hit with our inner resistance. Our inner resistance of self-doubt, of concern that we're making the wrong decision, of past mistakes, of memories of past mistakes, of reasons for not doing it now, or maybe we should wait, or maybe so-and-so will not appreciate us doing these things. All this is going to come up and start to hit us and start to move us away from, just leave things well enough alone. Don't rock the boat. Don't make big changes. Just go back to where you were before. If you must, you can think about doing things, but just don't do it. That's our resistance talking. Alongside our resistance are the opposing parts that we all have. One part says, yes, let's move forward. Let's go ahead and do this. And other parts saying, no, now is not the time, or this is going to be too hard, or you have enough going on. So we're going to get this real inner conflict with all these sides pushing against each other. Another factor with contemplation on the downside is, do we really know enough about what we're looking at? And most of us do want to do these things that we've never ever done before, never even approached before, and we're asking questions and we're trying to make judgment about time and expense and qualifications and so forth. Well, we just don't know enough to make a good decision. So we end up with sort of this scrambled, yes, no, maybe, perhaps, are you kidding? Yeah, let's do this, this is important. So around and around it goes. And already, most people come into contemplation with no boundaries. Hey, I'm just thinking about this. What's the rush? I don't have a deadline that I have to make a conclusion about if I'm going to do this or not. I can just keep contemplating forever. And without boundaries, one of which is time, and time flies, and contemplation tends to take so long. Months, years, and even decades. It just takes so long, and the time is flying by as though it is endless, and it is not. The way that we can jump, and I don't want to go into all the details here, jump out of contemplation into the next stage is we have to say we'll contemplate what we can, we'll think about what we can, but there are limits. The limits I've just specified and others. Essentially, we've got to turn to our heart and turn to the part of us that trusts that we can at least take a small risk and that we could start and do something like this. There's only so far we can go with our head in contemplation.